emailed it to her, but basically, I'll try to abbreviate this. I really struggled with a decision about what kind of radio to use. For 40 meters, and so anyways, I like Neil said, that I put together a list of objectives, and ranked them from 1 to 5, and made this table to achieve these different objectives. Try to figure out which radio is going to be able to serve that the best, and I could go into all of this, but without going into it. I arrived at the KX3, which is the one that Carol has. Picked up 38 points for all the objectives, and the second runner-up was 36.5 points, the KX2. At the end of the day, I decided to go with the KX2 because of basically the price and a gut feeling. So this table wasn't really aimed at trying to get an exact decision, but I wanted to kind of put all my thoughts down on paper and come to terms with the various conflicts and strengths and weaknesses of the radio configurations that I was considering, and that's what I came up with. So yeah, I did order a KX2. They are basically out of stock, and they're not shipping until apparently this week, but I haven't received a notice from Elecraft as to whether that's going to actually get shipped this week. As far as unboxing, I have no skills at videographing unboxing ceremonies, so I'll give it some thought, and I'm not sure if I'm going to have that in time for the next club meeting, or but it's something to think about. So I appreciate the questions and the comments, and I'll leave it at that. So let me know if you have any questions or comments, any additional ones. N6NA FM. One thing I forgot to mention is, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get this image to come out clearly. So what you're seeing is actually the source image didn't come out very well. It didn't convert to a JPEG very well. So my apologies for that. Go ahead, Joel, AI6DG.
I'm wondering which options you got. Clock card, antenna tuner, etc. And are you aware of the end ears, the extended heat sink, and the plastic covers that are optional? I'll have to go look up where you can get them. That are great protection of the rig, and the heat sink actually, if you're going to do digital mode, adds quite a bit of resiliency in terms of the transmitter not overheating during a high duty cycle mode.
So I'm aware of those things. I want to thank Carol for letting me have a hands-on opportunity with her KX3, which is in the same sort of product family, the KX line. And I was able to see the chassis side mounts and the cover and the heat sink that she had. What I did was I got the ATU, the automatic antenna tuner unit that's built in with the radio when it ships, and then I bought the keyer, or the little Morse iambic keyer that mounts on the side of the chassis. You see, I got the programming book and a book on the KX line, which describes basically the functionality of the KX family radio. Let me see what else. I got the internal rechargeable battery and the charger. And right now I'm fumbling through a record to see what's in my order. But now I don't have the details of it right in front of me. But anyway, that's kind of I did get the clock. I can't think of if I'm neglecting to mention anything else, but I think I mentioned everything there. It came with a hat as well. How's that?
imagine that was especially true with the KX3. KX6TV, back to that.
Yeah, I want to thank Carol and Joel for some coaching and encouragement, some hands-on there. So I'll have another update for you on it. But yeah, it got pretty expensive, and then I thought I didn't want to spend any more time shopping or price comparison or finding alternatives. I just wanted to put the whole issue to bed, get a trustworthy portable radio, and just move on and go ahead and see if I can live with it, and hopefully I'll love it. I'm looking forward to it. So anyway, thanks for all the questions and comments on that. Got myself a new KX2 on the way with some accessories, and maybe what I'll do is turn it over to Bob, N6PGQ, for a photo transmission. Go right ahead, Bob, when you're ready.
Okay, well, as I click through this thing, we're going to be using PD120. So it should be coming, if everything's working, fairly soon. N6PGQ.
Very good. Thank you, Bob. I'm going to turn it over to Neil. Did you copy KL7HQR? Did you copy the photo that N6PGQ transmitted? All right, I'll come back. I'll check with Neil in just a moment. Before I move on to Joel, I wanted to check with Carol, KP4MD. Did you sort out the audio for YouTube?
Yeah, this is KP4MD. The audio is now streaming on YouTube. For some reason, the audio device got jumbled and it disconnected, but everything's going smooth now. Over.
Good, nice work. Saying hello to Andy out there if he didn't hear me earlier. Joel, Neil, are you there? KL7HQR, did you copy the photo from Bob?
Yeah, KL7HQR, repeating my answer, which I was describing on my on the microphone on my HF transceiver, which is off. Picked up the wrong mic. Yes, very, very good copy. I noticed on YouTube that they have a little bit of artifacts right at the roof line there. I don't have that. Much better copy here. I've been to Bob several times, and it is with with a sudden heart that I see his beautiful tower and antenna there. Obviously taken on a Flag Day. I don't know if it was 4th of July or President's Day or when it was, but there was a big flag, which you probably don't realize how big it is, there at the tower. There's another one at the house and another one in the car. A beautiful old. I'll let Bob talk about the car. It's quite a jewel, but very, very good copy. No problem at all. Back to that.
Okay, very good, Neil. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to turn it over to Joel, Alpha in India 6 Delta Golf.
Hey, we've seen this before. I think this is the same house and car, probably the same day as was sent last week, only at a different angle. So now we have a better view of what's interesting to us stuff. You can see the tower in the background. Looks like it's behind the house, and I think that's a step-IR antenna of some model. Those are pretty cool. Nice multi-band. Pricey, but then the good stuff always is. And it looks, I can't quite figure out what's just below it on the tower, because maybe they're offsets for like coax and control cable that goes down. But it looks like there's 2 or 3 of them, and one of them has a flag on it. And again, yeah, it must have been Flag Day, 4th of July or something. I'm thinking of what it must be like putting around in a car like that. I mean, the sound of the engine and everyone turning around and looking. It's a perfect thing for like parades or special car events, shows and so forth. Looks like fun. Back to that N6NA.
All right, very good. Thanks, Joel. Carol, did you copy KP4MD N6EMF here?
Yeah, this is KP4MD. You see exactly what I copied. It's up on YouTube. Really good, clear picture. A few pixel pops here and there. You could see the pre-windstorm condition of Bob's tower and step-IR antenna, and really nice antique car there in the foreground with a flag. I guess it, like you say, it was part of the July 4th celebration type thing. So back to net. This is KP4MD.
All right, nice one, Carol. Yes, I just to let everybody know, I was able to copy the photo just fine. I could pretty much concur with everything that I heard. I didn't recognize the antenna by its name, but it's I think the photo must have some significance in regard to a tribute to the antenna that was there. So what really I want to make a compliment to Bob is a very tidy looking house. So nice work keeping your house looking good. Nice work, and a very patriotic setting there with the flag. So thanks for that. That's my wrap up on that. I'll turn it over to Bob in 6PGQ.
Okay, well, you obviously are not looking in my shop. Yeah, the outside of the house is kept pretty nice. The XYL kind of appreciates that, and I don't mind doing it to keep her happy. And I'd forgotten if I had sent this picture before. I know I sent a picture of my Brown 41. But anyway, you're right. The antenna is a step-IR DB18, and it's now a DB9 because half of the elements have broken, bent, or crashed. Below the antenna is a short yard arm that the flag is attached to, and on the other side of the tower on the same yard arm is the apex of a 80-meter inverted V. There are 3 flags in the picture, one on the tower, one in the corner of the house, and one on the back of the car. The car is a 1931 Model A Ford. It's a 4-door town sedan, slant window, with dual side mounts and a trunk. So it's about the desirable Model A's for the simple reason as the seat sits farther back from the floorboard and from the steering wheel. So as you age, you can get into the car and drive it easier. So some of the cars that are kind of shortened, as you get older, they get more and more difficult to get in. So that's kind of the description, and we'll watch for the next picture, N6PGQ.
All right, Bob, I wanted to make a comment, too, is that I felt like I knew what this car was, that it was a Model A, and the reason why was because when I was a small child, when my parents asked me, what do you want for Christmas, I told them I wanted a remote control car. I think I was about 5 years old, and then they gave me a matching pair, a beautiful, like, yellow color and a red one with chrome spoked wheels. And I was just so in love with those cars. Anytime anyone come to the house, I would share one of the cars was on one channel and the other one was on a separate channel. But I would share the cars with whomever came to the house and had a blast. But now I distinctly remember this is a Model A. I couldn't be sure, but I pretty nice memories it brought back. So thank you for that. And anyway, yeah, keep doing what you're doing with your house and your yard. It looks great. And good luck replacing your antenna. I will break there and give it a moment. All right, Neil, KL7HQR, ready to transmit a photo?
Roger, KL7HQR. Let's go give it a try. This is a PD-120. And it's not going, so please go ahead to the next person and call me back after that.
Copy. All right, Alpha India 6 Delta Golf. Joel, are you ready to transmit? Thank you, Joel. I will turn this over to Carol. I'm just going to go in a sort of a different rotation. Kilo Papa 4 Mike Delta. Carol, did you copy the photo?
Yeah, this is KP4MD. We do have that picture. I have a little bit more of the little popped pixels sprinkled throughout the picture there. You can see them more over the bottom two-thirds of the picture. I could see a river running through the bottom of a gorge, and a very impressive bridge spanning over that gorge there. And I have to say that Joel enjoys sharing these breathtaking pictures from his escapades in the wild. He must have a real connection with nature. I know he goes to these places and somehow he gets these pictures. I can imagine him climbing to the top of some pinnacle somewhere and dangling over the edge there to grab these shots. Very impressive. So back to net control. This is KP4MD.
All right, nice narrative there, Carol. Thank you. I will turn it over to Bob, N6PGQ. Bob, you copy?
Yes, I did, and it's a very nice picture also. You can see the vehicles on the roadway across the bridge. There's a red pickup truck right in the middle, and as Carol said, there's some pixels mostly right through the middle of the picture on my reception. Very nice. N6PGQ.
All right, very good. Neil, KL7HQR, I know you were working through some transmission issues, but were you able to copy this one from Joel, AI6DG?
KL7HQR. Yeah, I had a beautiful copy of the last two-thirds. And because my device here was on transmit, but not activating the signal link, so I was very confused because I couldn't hear the tone, and saw my picture being scanned, and then I finally realized that no, I'm not interfering with him. But yeah, good picture. I wonder if this bridge is the one on near Highway 49 as you go up to out of Auburn to going out to Placerville. You see the bridge there in a certain distance. And if it is, I have flown under this bridge under my flight simulator at least 10 times. That connect.
All right, Neil, thank you. Yeah, let me throw mine in there. I was able to copy the photo, and it basically, I have to concur with everything that I heard. And when I first saw it, my impression was that it might be that area around the Auburn, what would have been the Auburn Dam, and I probably shouldn't say that here. But yeah, I from down below looking up, I guess that I've been in this area where I think is the Auburn area, so I kind of agree with Neil, but I just can't be sure because looking down in here in the gorge, I can't find a reference point that I recognize, but I probably wouldn't be able to from this perspective either because I've never been up here. But I can't see the deck of the bridge. When Bob pointed out the red pickup truck, I could see a red kind of shape on the upper left-hand corner of the photo on the deck, but the whole deck was blotted out by noise of some kind, like horizontally oriented stripes, maybe, or maybe I'm confusing that with something else. But anyways, again, a nice breathtaking photo, Joel, and I think I can turn it over to Joel himself, AI6DG, N6EMF here.
Well, the photo doesn't really do this location justice. This is just one photo of many I took at this location, and there were many of them that were quite spectacular. This is not the Auburn Ravine Bridge or gorge, and I think one way you can tell that is this is a much narrower gorge than I think it is up there. It's been a long time since I've been up there, but I don't remember looking anything like this if you were to look over the bridge. This is actually up in Oregon. About 25 miles north of Bend, Oregon, on Highway 97, US 97, is the Peter Skeen Ogden State Park rest area. And we're looking down at the Crooked River, and this is also the border between the Deschutes I don't know how to pronounce that. Deshish in Jefferson counties. And I was up in Oregon for the eclipse a couple of years ago, or 3 or 4, or however many years ago. Time flies. It's more than I think it is, I imagine. And through this portion of mid-Oregon, you've got a couple of these that this Highway 97 goes over, where it's just almost a slot canyon. It's just you're going along in the middle of this perfectly flat, nothingness part of the state, and all of a sudden, zoom, you're over a bridge over this amazingly sharp and narrow canyon as a river goes across. It's really kind of amazing. And this one in particular is amazing because there's a park, rest area and park right there that lets you stop, rest, and walk around this park and over to the canyon and look straight down into this amazing canyon. And there you've got, you might notice that I seem to be in the middle of the air. That's because there's the old road bridge that's still there that this highway used to go across, that you can walk across and look straight down into the canyon and look across at the current bridge road. Plus, a little bit, maybe a quarter mile behind me is an existing in use railroad bridge that crosses the canyon. So it's a great place to stop and rest. And this particular day I was on my way home after the eclipse, and I was in tourist mode. On the way up, I just wanted to get to where the campsite was up by Mount Hood. But this day I was relaxing, stopped and took pictures. In fact, the next day I spent around Crater Lake, which was also amazing. So the eclipse was amazing, but actually the day after, the 2 days after the eclipse were even more amazing for me because I got to play tourist at some other places I hadn't seen before, and I'm very tempted to go back up into Oregon sometime to play tourist and take a better look at some of these places. Back to Net, the I-6TV.
All right, again, very nice photo, and it's to our benefit that you get to play tourist mode. So keep at it and keep bringing us wonderful landscape photography. This is great stuff. I might even want to pay you to have one framed for us to put here. I'll even want the AI6DG there. How's that? N6EMF. All right, so let's see. What do we have? Any comments for Joel or questions on his photo?
No comments, but I would like to, this is scale 7HQ, I would like to give it a tone test to see if I fixed the problem.
All right, go right ahead, N6EMF. I'll be listening. Scale 7HQR and 6EMF. You got it. Tone, I could hear it.
Okay, with your permission then, I will send PD-120.
Okay, Neil, whenever you're ready, go ahead and transmit. right, Neil, I was able to copy your photo just fine. I think I'll go first this time. I see sort of two floors in the photograph. So it's sort of a gray overall overtones, but there seems like an upper floor with some sort of wash basin, possibly a bathtub, but it doesn't seem to register as a bathtub. Some sort of wash basin, rails, guardrails, spindle type around there. Staircase going down to a lower floor, chalkboard, possibly, or a window, and a framed item, or actually a door in the background. Some overhead ceiling lighting. So I can't discern what this is, but it is a very interesting photo and elicits lots of questions in my mind. So I'll be listening to an explanation. Let me turn it over to AI6BG. Joel, did you copy?
Good reception. I usually report of CU pops and background moray. So we're looking at a two-flight stair system on the right that's going between, I think that's a bathtub up on top, but it's totally open to the area down below. I can see a few doors. Can't really tell what's in the room downstairs. This would be like a studio apartment or a loft or something. But even in that case, it seems a bit strange to have a bathtub in the open like that. But I suppose it's possible. It looks like there's kind of a vault ceiling. We're on top of the tall area, so it's probably 15, 20 feet up to the peak of the vault of the ceiling from where we're standing, with the vault open area going down into the second floor area, so it's still got headroom. First floor, I just tell that there's a door, like maybe a closet in the center and a door going off to maybe an area with a window on the right. Can't tell on the left. Look forward to hearing what a brief description. Back to Nettie, I suppose.
All right, nice one, Joel. Thanks. Sounds like picture's getting through okay. I'll go next to Kilo Pop 4 Mike Delta. Carol, you copy?
Yeah, this is KP4MD. If you notice, I have a little bar, little horizontal streak there, right going like halfway up the stairways. And what's happening is I'm getting some really a little strange propagation here. I'm getting some QSB on the signal coming in from the repeater. It actually sometimes gets really weak and drops down in the noise and comes back up. I don't know what that has to do with. Maybe it has to do with the wind or something out there. But that's the reason for that little streak there. Everything else I'm seeing the same, and it looks exactly like you have your bathtub right at the top of that landing. And I don't know. Maybe some people like to take their bath up on a balcony like that, it looks like. And it's interesting banisters there too. It looked like some kind of a light wood. Very airy space with really high ceiling there. It's and very interesting lighting effects there as well. So back to net control. This is KP4MD.
I think Neil has another interesting one for us to hear about. Let's see, did Bob go ahead and report whether he copied N6PGQ?
Yeah, the quality is really good with varying little of the pixel strikes. The only thing I can comment is you can see the faucet in front of the tub, and everybody else has made pretty much all the same comments. It looks really nice. Came through well, N6PGQ.
All right, thank you, Bob. KL7HQR. Neil, you're up. N6EMF.
This is KL7HQR. Everybody is just bright. This, believe it or not, it's a hotel room in Wales where I stayed. It was the Oddfellows, hotel, and I sent you a picture a couple weeks ago of a room, upside-down room with a table on the ceiling. So there were all kinds of odd things in this hotel, and I'll probably find a few other pictures for future transmissions. I am standing, right behind me is the entrance door to the room, to the hotel. So you just came in from the hallway and you walk in. And to the right is where the couch is, and etc. Immediately to the television on the left. And in the back there, you have an entrance to the bathroom, and there is a little breakfast table beyond the stairs on the lower floor. Then you go upstairs, and that's really a bathtub. On the other side of the bathtub, between the bathtub and the gray wall that you see there, is the double bed. And so that is the bathroom, the bedroom with the bathtub right there. So I thought it was so out of the ordinary. Plus, you see the railing is so wide open that anything can fall through. So it doesn't offer much of a protection. But it was a very interesting, very different place. And it's in Chester, in Wales, just on the dividing line between Wales and England. We used to fly in Manchester and then go over to Chester. You find all kinds of interesting things when you go to a hotel. I went to another hotel in Singapore, in Shanghai, where a beautiful 5-star hotel, and they had the bathtub completely enclosed, but with a window, a glass window, so that you could take a bath and look through the window and watch the television. And they had blinds that would go up and down, of course, to give privacy. But the switch to move the blinds up and down was outside of the bathroom near the television. So very interesting things. Back to Net, KL7HQR.
Yeah, this one, this photo here puts a smile on my face. It makes me chuckle. So I appreciate the story behind it, and some very interesting observations here. And but keep them coming. I'd like to see another one. I'm sure you've got a handful more stashed away, like the one you just described. Maybe we can take a look at that one next time. Any other comments or questions? Follow up for Neil. Well, all right. So Neil has sent his photograph. Congratulations on troubleshooting and resolving your transmission issues, Neil. I'd like to go ahead and see did we get Carol, KP4MD? Did you get your photo? You want to transmit a photo now, Carol?
Yeah, okay. This is going to be PD120, KP4MD.
Nice work, Carol, with your transmission. And it's N6EMF here, Net Control. I would like to take the first round and indicate that, yes, I was able to copy. I can see that Carol has placed her 2 to 10 parts do-it-yourself radio club kit on display here. She's taken a photograph of the kit parts bag and has the printed circuit board out for display, and it looks great. So I am engaged in building one of these kits myself, and was able to meet Carol face-to-face for the first time at the Fair Oaks Public Library, where we all converged last Saturday afternoon with Bob and Phil, and we picked up our kits and had a great discussion and some show and tell there. Great times. And anyway, I started, so I recognized the kit, looks great. I'll probably turn it over for discussion to N6PGQ, Bob. Nice work, Carol.
Okay, well, it came through well here. You can actually read the label that says 2 to 10 parts, and the call sign at the bottom, printed circuit board on the left, and parts containers in the middle and the right. So it came out very well in 6PGQ.
Oh, very good, Bob. Thank you. KL7HQR, Neil, copy. N6EMF here.
KL7HQR, yes, copy. Interesting. This one came up with here with quite a few of the color dots, quite a few of the paper interference. Looking at YouTube, I can see how clean it is, but it did not interfere with the clarity of the picture. I recognize it looks just like mine, and so good copy overall. I have to tell you that I spent quite a long time yesterday trying to inventory the parts. With my eyes, I could look at those little ceramic capacitors, and I could not read any identification on it until I really got a big magnifying glass and got it under a very bright light, and sure enough, there they are. But it took me quite a while. Also, it shows me how long it has been since I did anything, because some of the components, they look so foreign to me, and electrolytic capacitor is supposed to be about 2 inches tall. And so anyway, it was quite an experience, and I'm looking forward to completing it. So good picture. Back to Net.
Yeah, thanks, Neil. I agree with almost everything you said. Yep, I recommended that they recommended the jeweler's loop, and I think in some of the documentation somewhere, if I'm remembering accurately. But yeah, AI6DG. Joel, you copy?
Very good reception, and yeah, I guess there were more pops than some of the previous images. And also, it didn't help that the repeater ID'd about a third of the way down. But it looked like a fun kit to build. I'm not familiar with it or what type of components or level of construction is needed for it. From what you're describing, it sounds like one of those new USB microscopes, or at the very least, one of those ring-lit magnifying top lights, which would be great. I've got a couple of the ring magnifier lights that I'm finding essential for doing just about anything. And for the really small stuff, I've got a USB microscope. I've never had to use that for construction. It's more to examine things. I mean, it just goes in and you can see the most amazing details on things. I wouldn't think a kit like this would be using the really small stuff. You'd be surprised how small some of the components are that they have available now. It's like you practically can't even see them with the naked eye, let alone work on them. But have fun building. It looks like at least a couple evenings of entertainment. That's an
All right. Thanks for that, Joel. I would say at least a couple of evenings. I spent all day Saturday, or pretty much all day one day this weekend. Can't remember which day it was, but working on mine. I'm still not done. So, anyway, let me go on over to Carol, KP4MD. Did I miss Bob? Bob, did you report on this one?
I did. N6PGQ.
KP4MD.
Okay, yeah, this is KP4MD. Very good. Yeah, this is the Tuna Tin S kit, and this is the board, the PC board that was designed by Phil, KD6RM. The board, for just so you have an idea of the scale here, that PC board measures 4 inches across and 5 inches long. And inside the plastic bag where all the parts are in there, there are actually 2 little bags that you can see in the front. The one on the right is the Arduino Nano, and the one to the left of it, inside the bag there, is the SI5351 frequency synthesizer. So I thought I'd just organize those so that you would see those towards the front of the bag. I'm looking forward to getting this project put together. I have one of those helping hands stands with a built-in lit magnifying glass with the alligator clips that hold the board in place. It helps tremendously when you're soldering these tiny little circuits. So we're looking forward to getting this on the air. I know that John, KI6RT, already has put his on the air, and he's got reports back from the Reverse Speaker Network. So it's great, and we've been in contact with the author of this program, AK3Y. That's an interesting call sign, because if you reverse the 3, it turns to letter E, so it's A-key, A-K-E-Y. Quite clever call sign for a CW operator. So that's Robert Fontana, who is the author of this project that was published in the December QST magazine, the Tuna Tin S for synthesized. So back to net control. This is KP4MD.
Thanks for that, Carol. I was thrilled to find out that Bob Fontana, AK3Y, was participating in our online forum to discuss our do-it-yourself builder project. It's really cool to have direct access to him, and I even had some discussion with him because I took the circuit model out of the ARRL article, and I modeled the bandpass filter network in PSpice as part of my work. If I had not done that, I might be done with the project by now, but I just couldn't help myself and tinker with the filter model for a good evening, and got some insights into what it was doing. And I've got my board about 90% stuffed and soldered up, but I still need to program the microcontroller of Arduino. So yeah, I'm engaged in this project and looking forward to more work on it and getting it on the air. So thanks for that photo. That's very appropriate for what so many people are engaged in right now. Carol, thank you. Any other comments or questions for Carol's photo?
N6NA with a quick question.
Go right ahead, Neil.
Not necessarily directed at Carol, but maybe you can answer as well. Carol, do you intend to use any kind of container to house this device?
Okay, you're talking about an enclosure for this? Is that what your question was?
Yes, some kind of enclosure so that, with time, dust and accidental droppings won't...
Well, the idea is you could put it inside a tin can of the kind that was in the article. I guess it was a candy box, a metal candy box that the author used. I'm just going to have to see. There's a number of plastic type enclosures that you could find at the craft stores like Michael's or Joann's. That's a possibility. Or Tap Plastic might have a nice little clear plastic container. Otherwise, a metallic thing. But I guess if you really wanted to be fancy, you could do something with a 3D printer. But I have never tried anything like that. Over.
Roger. Yeah, I just knowing my tendency to have little accidents, I know that eventually I'm going to drop something on top of it. So, anyway, thank you very much. Good picture, good copy. Back to Nat.
Right, but yeah. So for an enclosure, the idea that I had that I haven't figured out yet, but I might put it on standoffs at the very minimum. I think that standoffs would be useful. So that involves probably drilling some holes and setting some standoffs. Another idea I had is to just take like a 1-inch thick slab of wood and build or glue or screw some side rails on it, cut some slots so that I can slide the printed circuit board in there, just have a place for it. But other than that, I did not intend to go too far with an enclosure, but that's a great question, Neil. So I have a quick question for Carol. Since Carol is sort of the founder of the SSTV Net, I wanted to ask a question. I know that we're developing skills in image transmission, but the thought I had in mind, or the question is, what role does image transmission have in emergency communications? I know I'm just wondering if you've seen image transmission have a role in emergency communications or exercises.
Yeah, I personally have not participated in any of those type of transmissions, but where they need to get an image of a scene of some kind of an incident and want to send that over the radio. That's one of the uses for this sort of thing, like a description of damage caused by some kind of an incident. That's typically what they're talking about when they're sending these images over.
I just thought that'd be an interesting discussion point. I appreciate your perspective on it. Comes to mind how valuable something like this could be in a disaster or any type of situation along those lines, where you're trying to identify people or maybe places or whatever. So pictures worth 1,000 words kind of thing. So yeah, thanks for that, Carol. What I'll do is make a plan to close out this net, but before I'll do, I'll just check and see if anybody else had any comments or questions.
KL7HQR, one last comment. I think let's not forget that the beginning of slow scan television is what led to for us to see Neil Armstrong walking on the moon back when. So it has already contributed a lot. But yeah, very interesting on where can we go with the new technology on this. Back to Nat. Thank you. Good night and great net tonight.
Thank you for that comment, Neil. So here's what I'll do. I'll get ready to close this out. And so I want to say thanks to all who participated in tonight's SSTV Net, and especially appreciate the support out there in the YouTube community, the viewers that we have out there supporting us. If Andy is still there, I want to wish Andy a good night. And thanks to Carol for operating the YouTube channel. And we hope to see you again next Wednesday at 9 o'clock p.m. The net is officially closed at 10:05 p.m. Pacific Time. This is Wilson, November 6 Echo Mike Foxtrot, wishing all of you a good evening.